Hey guys, this is Jay. Welcome back to the Atlanteans. I have with me Joe and Alec. How you guys doing?
Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing well.
Doing awesome, Jay. Painting Scuttlebutt tonight. It's probably going to take me a month,
Awesome.
but I'm making some progress.
I'm putting the last couple of magnets into some Gravediggers stuff, which is crazy, I know.
Oh man, yeah.
Starting another army.
Crazy, Jay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope you like them.
Old Umbry hasn't really fit well with me, I guess. I mean, it is a hordes. It's a warlock-led faction, which I'm traditionally not good with. I prefer the warcaster focus mechanic a lot more. And so, as soon as the bandit rules came out, and I saw all the craziness that you can do with him, and I started really looking at Gravediggers, I sort of decided that I was going to play them.
I thought you liked Old Umbry. I thought that was like a breath of fresh air after playing all those.
I do. They're fun. I mean, I'm a Khador player, and so of course I was going to play them. They just don't. The mechanics of them just don't quite fit with what I want to be doing on the table. I don't know.
Are you worried you're going to be moving too fast up the table with Gravediggers?
So Gravediggers are weird because they're like. Gravediggers is really bizarre. The army doesn't function the way I normally play. I mean, it has combined arms, which is a big thing for me. And which is cool, but then like all of the infantry sort of like Old Umbry is all like defense 13, and but then they're all like paper armor, and some of them have wounds, but not all of them. So they're all like 13 and 14 armor, 13 defense. But then the jacks have like Khador-y kind of like they're speed 5, arm 19, can be arm 21. They're all sort of have like Khador-y sort of stats, which is kind of weird. So it's sort of like you have these jacks that can be shooty, but really want to be melee, paired with light infantry, like shooting infantry, and then jacks that fall from the sky. I mean, it's a very interesting mechanic. It's very different than what I've played recently, so I'm going to try it out. We'll see what happens.
You like it. I like them. I've played several games with them now. I enjoy the heck out of them.
So
I haven't played with this bandit.
Yeah. So I intended to sort of get into them lightly, like just get enough stuff to play, get like 3 casters worth of models, have bandit, a bunch of like the drop jacks and stuff, and then Ice King Taylor was like, "Oh hey, I have this army I have like $400 worth of stuff, including Boom Boom, which you weren't planning to get. I'll give it to you for like pennies. You want it?"
Okay.
I saw that, and I was like,
"Sure, Taylor."
I was so tempted to be like, I'll take that and finish out what I need for my army, but I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that maybe you get it, and then you're like, I don't like it, and I'll be like, I'll pay exactly what you pay. Give it to me.
Take it off his hands, right?
Yeah.
$300 and a Fane starter box. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm going from like having a very limited like $300 or $400 I was going to spend on the army, and now I have like I need to get artillery pieces and walkers, and it's gonna be a lot more expensive than I was planning for it to be. But that's fine.
I feel like you could skip the walkers.
But so I have a Boom Boom showing up as part of this deal with Taylor, and he really likes them. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that I can when the Boom Boom shows up, he's not like fully assembled, and so I can maybe 3D design the turret and guns, and so I can like magnetize Boom Boom and make him be able to be one or the other, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you want me to bring my extra Rulik battle engine so you can make a similar one to mine?
No.
Mega Boom Boom.
The giant.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Mega Boom Boom.
I'm good. Thank you, Alec.
Oh man, I would love to pick up some more Gravediggers right now, but there's other things I have to hold out for.
Yeah, you got a lot on your plate. You're ready to do Menox, right? Like,
I hear they're in the
it's
winds.
coming, buddy. It's not far away at all. Like
October, I believe.
Yeah, I have to figure out how I can somehow show my dedication to SFG to be like, please, let me buy the army. Please.
Alright, so real quick, guys, this is episode 37. This is our first episode of season 3, which is awesome. Congratulations, guys, on making it this far. Talking about how Meloth might release and how Fane is... So one of the things we wanted to talk about a little bit was Fane, because we haven't really done that. And I don't know, did you guys see the release preview for Fane and how they're doing it?
I haven't. Sorry.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay.
So probably
I know that they're going to be releasing the models, but what do you mean?
So last week they released and I'll put it up. So there's an article that talked about how they're releasing Fane and how it's different than what they've done so far with the other armies. So you know how the other armies basically you have a command starter box. You have a battle group box, you have a core box, and an auxiliary box.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
I know about it.
I did see that.
So Fane is different. Fane, they released a command starter box. They released the beasts separately. And then they're releasing the 3 casters instead of having a caster with the beasts and then caster with an auxiliary and a core box. They're releasing 3 boxes, a core box, and like 2 auxiliary boxes. But each of them have their own name. They come with a caster. And new to Fane, they're putting the same thing in multiple boxes. So, like, all 3 boxes have a smattering of different light beasts in them. And the light beasts that come in the starter boxes all come with just one set of heads and wings. And the ones they get are different in some of the boxes. It's not like you get... Because I think there's 3 sets of heads and wings, but it's not like the heavy gets all 3 sets over the 3 boxes. It's like 2 boxes have this version and this one has this version, and then they actually have like duplicate units in some of the boxes. So like box 2 and 3 have the same unit in it. I think it's very bizarre. I think it's weird that they're doing that, and it also means that instead of being like $80 for a command box, $75 for battle group box, you might get 1 or 2 of. And then a 160 and a 150 box. I think it's like 3 150 boxes. And so the price of an army, if you buy all their boxes all the way through, is actually going up by like $80. And you get duplicate models in the process.
Well, you often want duplicate models, right?
Yeah,
you normally want.
Yeah, but usually you buy like 2 of a box or something like that. It's not like... And I guess we haven't seen the rules for what the units that are duplicates, so maybe they're something that you might want duplicates of. I just think it's strange.
I'm not opposed.
Those things are really good. Yeah.
So, like, what I was going to say is I'm not opposed to this new system. I don't think it's so, especially with the heads and the body parts being not every single one is going to be the same. Now, maybe that's because I 3D print mine, and that's my, like, I'm used to doing that now, and most of the people I know, like my friends, maybe they also all have 3D printers, so they also can do that.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just spoiled for that reason. But like I think about the guys in Virginia Beach. I think about some of the guys I know in Europe. I think of some of the guys I know up here now, like, or some of the guys, all over. It seems like everyone has a 3D printer, or if they don't have a 3D printer, someone near them has a 3D printer.
And it is nice that they've released the alternate wing stuff for the beasts, and so to get the parts you don't necessarily have to buy the box. I'm more saying that there's like 3 150 point or $150 or more boxes to get the actual casters for the 3 armies. They have released some alternate sculpts for a couple of them, so you might not have to buy all of them if you don't want. But I don't know if we're necessarily going to get alts for all of the casters on 3D printed.
Well, and I don't know about the print-on-demand stuff, too. I guess,
Yeah.
So I thought the point of this was that you could, like, choose a warcaster that you were interested in, and then basically buy their army, like a functioning 75-point army.
It's a 50-point army in each of the 3 boxes now, instead of a 35, which is what the previous one was.
Like, so you find the caster you like, and then you build around him. It's not, trying to puzzle piece things together. Now you figure out, you're like, oh, hey, I like how this guy plays. I want to buy him and build off of him. And then later on, if you want to buy someone else and build off of them, you can do that. I think
you still have to buy like 2 of these boxes, or this box and the starter box, or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know. It could work really well. It could be interesting. I'm just thinking that in the long run, it's more army boxes to buy for some players, and it could be if you feel like you have to buy multiple of these boxes, it's more money you have to spend on stuff you might necessarily want.
It definitely could be. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it until I sit down and think okay, I want to buy this faction, right? But
right.
I think it'd be a thing to watch.
Right, and we don't have it yet. We don't have everything for the faction. We don't even have rules for everything for the faction, so we don't know really how it affects the total final price. It could just mean that, hey, instead of buying 2 auxiliary boxes like almost every army does, because you tend to get the heavy stuff with the auxiliary box, maybe that's spread out over 2 boxes and you don't necessarily need to get all that stuff. I don't know. It's possible that it works that way. But I'm just thinking that if this is the way forward, they are going to Menoth will be like this. The probably Orgoth, which is probably next after Menoth, the second Orgoth army, will probably be like this, and it's going to change how players buy armies going forward, which is why I wanted to bring it up.
The old problem, right?
I think it's a better idea, because remember how it used to be? It's this is the expansion, this is this. Now it's this is this caster, and this is approximately what he's going to be running. So you have a better idea when you're stepping into it. And I think that's going to be a better, instead of just being this is, it seems like everything was standard or expansion. And I think sometimes people didn't know what they were buying. If they were just
imagine getting into Trolls if you just bought the Shadow Tongue box, right? I think that was the auxiliary expansion, and you got I don't know, a blimp and some shockers and Hargor to work with. That's tough.
So I think this will be, we'll see how it turns out, but I think this will be a better thing in the long run.
They're trying to solve the skew issue, right? In some sense for us, the veteran Warmachine players, the best thing that they could release is just individual, blisters, right?
Yeah.
That's really what I want. That's kind of the most efficient thing for me to buy is okay, I can pick and choose, I don't buy anything I don't want to, I'm happy to buy. I'm smart enough that I know enough about the game that I can buy things kind of piecemeal.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that, unfortunately. You can buy them online like that, but you really can only get whatever the newest army is reliably, and everything else is sort of print on demand, which supposedly recently has been 4 weeks, but the website says 4 to 8 weeks. So.
Yeah, and so they're not going to do that, and so it's all kind of different flavors of how do we put things in boxes and, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Alec, do you remember painting your Abyssal King?
I do.
That
took me
crazy-ass spines that it has on it?
Yes, I remember those. I think I have. You guys actually saw videos of it.
Yeah,
still remember.
Yeah. I remember you doing those. And you counted them.
Yeah.
Scuttlebutt has the exact same feature. He's covered in these little spikes.
Ugh.
And they all require painting. It's incredible.
That's rough.
I should count them in your honor, but I estimate it's probably on the order of 100.
Yeah. You should. You absolutely should.
Hey, Alec, can I ask you a question as well?
Absolutely, sir.
So, for your Gravediggers, have you put together any of the heavy machine gun teams?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Have you painted any of them?
Yeah.
Did you leave?
I painted one on stream, and
did you put them together fully and paint them with them together fully, or did you paint them in pieces?
I painted.
I'm wondering if I should like leave the guys off and let's like glue the gun down and paint the guys separately and then glue them on, or if I should like leave the gunner off. Okay.
I did it all together. Okay. But also in one of the teams that I did it as if the guy is bringing the ammo to the gun.
Yeah.
And then one of them, he's actually already feeding the gun.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to be slightly different.
Yeah. I have one I have to assemble, and I have another one coming from Taylor, which I don't know if it's pre-assembled or not. And so I have to figure out what I want to do and how I want to paint them.
Yeah,
I definitely think it'll be complex. Either way.
Actually, hold on. I can look up that video so I can then tell you which video.
All right. So, Joe, what about Fane excited you when you first saw them?
Well, I mean, the Scorn connection, that's what got me excited about them. I'm, like, pretty meh on vampires. I think they're fine.
Yeah.
I think the things that drew me to the faction were, one, the light and heavy war beasts.
Okay.
The paint jobs on them were really incredible.
I would agree with that completely.
Particularly what they did with the wings, I thought was really, really nice. Some of the infantry I'm, like, kind of okay with.
Okay.
It's not bad, it's just, like, I think it's a little bit too much. Some of them are a little bit too heavy metal for me, and maybe even I can say that. But I really liked the war beasts. I really liked how they looked, and I thought the paint schemes on them were excellent.
Yeah.
And then, man, like Harosheth was like incredible, like wonderful looking model. I love the connection to Score. That just got me really, really excited. So those are kind of the things that drew me to Fane.
Okay. Yes, Alec?
Let's get you painted episode 3 with Chris.
Okay.
Dr. Ether.
All right,
it's
I will
a little
check it out.
50-minute episode, and that's me painting them. I painted the entire thing in 53 minutes.
Oh my god.
Nice. I will check that out. Thank you very much, Alec.
No problem. I did. I told you, like, this channel has been getting me painted. It really is.
It should be called Let's Get Alec Painted. I love it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Oh man. Just wait till the medals come out, and I'm gonna just be painting so much.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you guys to see the new videos that are gonna be going out. Because I started recording. I recorded like 6 videos for the upcoming month.
That you've been prepping and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and then I finally have my first video collaborating with my wife, which I'm super excited about.
Awesome. Wife collab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely need to figure out a day to get in and do a paint episode with you, because I still haven't done one, and that's sort of like my thing.
I know. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's it was awesome when I put out the call on the one group, and then I was like, hey, I have surgery coming up. I need help. And everyone was like, yeah, let me hop in and help you record an episode. And that shows how awesome the community is.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with that. All right.
Dude, I'm up to 23 episodes on that channel.
Wow.
You're killing it.
You've kept it up weekly, which has been really impressive. I know that you've had a couple of weeks where you were like, I need to figure something out for tomorrow. But
yeah,
like,
it was
keeping a show up weekly is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
well, like when I get a migraine or I couldn't feel my hand, it's very difficult to paint.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be able to keep it up even with the surgery?
That's why I'm recording after. So I have, I'm still recording this week and parts of next week. And I'm trying to make sure that I have basically 10 weeks of recorded episodes after the surgery.
Wow.
So that way it's like, I mean, mind you, some of those are going to be weird and out of order. Like I realized with some of them, I'm painting Big Pig, and I realized how I uploaded some of them because I was painting and I didn't remember who I talked to or when I was painting what parts. So people are going to notice like, oh, he's unpainted here, but here he's painted more and here he's painted less.
Gotcha.
But I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, then I'm trying to have basically 10 weeks because that'll also cover me going through Nova and make sure that I'm good.
Very cool.
And hopefully by the end of 10 weeks, I am, good to go again.
So funny enough, talking about 10 weeks. So when I got my teeth done, when I got my surgery for my dental work stuff, they told me that I was going to have teeth done and they were going to have them to me in 10 weeks. And I signed off on the sheet to get the finals made today. And it's been 5 months and like 10 days.
Yeah.
And it'll be like 6 months before I actually get them.
Well, it was funny, like...
So I hope you have better results than I have had so far.
I mean, it's going to be everything on me. It's going to be me getting up to do my physical therapy and making sure I don't lift too much and stuff like that. Speaking of, Joe, you're about my size. Would you like to wear some armor for Nova? Because I don't know if I'm going to physically be able to wear it.
Okay, buddy, if you bring it and you want me to wear it, I will wear it. I am about your size. I'm into it. As long as
we could try to...
Is it going to look good? Is it going to be legit?
It's going to be legit.
Okay, if it's legit, I'll wear it.
Are you gonna be able to finish it, Alec, or are you just gonna glue it together and paint it?
What do you mean? Like, it's so far the staff is set.
Like
the shield is set.
It's 3D printed, right? So it's got the 3D printing texture to it a little bit. I know that you have a printer that sort of smooths it out, but when you glue pieces together, there's still going to be some imbalance. So you're going to have to like apply Bondo or putty or something like that to smooth them out. Usually.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. And then one of the things I'm doing this coming weekend is at least for the shield. So the helmets is good. The helmet just needs to get its final painting. Because it's like set. The shield is the next major thing that I've been working on. So it's fully assembled. I put more JB Weld in there to fill in the gaps, and then I sanded it a little bit. I need to see what happens after. I had to let it sit again because I had put a little bit more JB Weld in. Mm-hmm. And then I'll sand it again. And then after that, I'll hit it with its first priming. And then I'll sand again to see where it needs. And then I'll start hand painting what I need. And then I'll obviously hit it with the final coat or the finish. And then from there, I'll go to the, right now the armor is being printed, the chest piece. And then the staff is fully printed and it's getting assembled. I have been having to sand down the dowel rod for the center. Mm-hmm. And to make everything fit properly. And then, so once it's one of those things like, you add glue, sand, or prime, and then as soon as one thing is drying or setting or curing, I move on to like the next thing so that I'm not just wasting time. Something's always happening.
That makes sense.
So yeah, the helmet just needs to be fully done. I'm not going to go with a full bronzed helmet. So what I'm doing with my helmet is I'm doing bone white for the majority of the helmet, and then the two side piece. There's like two pieces of metal. It looks like on the side with rivets. Those are actually going to be gold, and the rivets are going to be matching gold. And then the center visor is still going to remain black, but the actual helmet itself is going to be the bone white that you normally associate with Menoth, like Menoth white. It took me a little bit trying to find a acrylic paint that matched that because I didn't want to just blow through all of my.
Oh yeah, no. That makes sense.
Like your precious acrylic paint, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. It's crazy.
No. Now the armor is mostly going to be gold. It's because I couldn't really find a good. I found a gray, so that the armor is going to be based gray, same as the shield. The armor is going to be based gray, and then from the gray after it's sanded, then I'm going to go in and touch it up with some gold, and then I'm going to do silver with it as well. If I can find more of this, it's called toasted marshmallows. Then I might do this. I might do the shield as well. But the thing is, it doesn't run through an airbrush. This big acrylic, so it's basically hand painting it on.
You got a big brush? I feel like you want a big brush.
I do have a big brush. I do. But I'm trying to make sure I don't do like thick layers. I'm trying to make sure it looks good. Like I'm trying to really go all out with this. And then I have white pants, white shirt, like loose fitting for both. And then I have a cloak. I don't have a red cloak. I have a green cloak that I'm going to go with it, just because I don't have time to sew a red cloak. But so I'm going to have a green cloak, and it should be pretty good. It's actually going to look like one of my Temple Flame Guard miniatures, because I have units of Temple Flame Guard that had green. I had ones that were yellow. I had ones that were red, and I had ones that were blue. Basically, for their cloak to differentiate units back in the day when they were 10-man units. So the green cloak is going to basically match one of those green units.
Very cool.
Yep, that's the work. That is the plan. But yeah, when they told me that like post surgery I'd only be able to pick up like 5 pounds, and I was like, oh no, that shield is way more than 5 pounds.
Double thick, like.
Oh yeah.
Should have printed it at a smaller scale.
Oh well. No, the shield is pretty awesome. It comes up to my shoulder. When it went on the ground. Yeah.
Wow.
I think you're going to like it. And then Alec Jr. has laid claim to it for his Halloween costume.
I thought you were going to say for his inheritance.
I'm going to double that too.
The rest of his life, right? I mean, I'd want it too. It's pretty dope.
Very cool. All right. So, where do we want to go first? Do we want to talk a little bit about the Fane stuff that's come out recently? Do we want to talk about Journeyman? We have a couple of different topics, and we'll sort of see what we get to tonight.
Why don't you tell us about your Journeyman?
Okay, I can do that. So, SFG has released a Journeyman has released a casual play packet that we've talked about before. Part of the casual play packet has a Journeyman League sort of format to it, and while I like that it has like a basic outline that's a little bit more. So the Journeyman League stuff that came out with Mark IV when it first came out was sort of like, well, here's your new army. It only works with the Mark IV stuff. You play this number of points for this. You play this stuff for this game specifically, and then the next week you had this specific model, and then you had these specific models. And it sort of guided you through learning to play Mark IV, but it didn't really help you with, like, if you've already played the game, playing your own army, playing your own stuff. And so when the casual play packet came out, it released a sort of a looser guide that's a little more easy. It helps you out, but one of the big things that it did that older Journeyman Leagues that I've in the past for different editions has done is that you didn't really get points for playing games. There wasn't really like a tracking system for deciding a winner, it just sort of guided you, and it lasted 16 weeks, which I think anyone can say that that's probably too long for a Warmachine League, and people will lose interest by then. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think trying to keep people going 4 to 6 weeks can be difficult sometimes, just because people's lives, especially with, we're all adults, we all have families, we all have kids, not all have kids, but we all have work, we all have outside things that take our time. And I think all of those make it very difficult sometimes to get out to the game store once a week or once every 2 weeks and, get our games in or even get your own painting in.
Can you imagine playing 3 weeks of 50 points, like 4 weeks of 30 points, and then 4 weeks of 50 points, and then 4 weeks of 75, and then 4 weeks of 100? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I can't imagine playing that much at each of those point levels before you get to like the meat of 75 or 100 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like a long time to do anything.
Right. Right. So I'm in the middle of running a league, so I've decided to do 2 weeks per point level instead of 4. So the league is running a total of 8 weeks. One of the things that I've done with Journeyman leagues in the past for like escalation-y kind of things is that players tend to play a lot of games at 30 and 50 points, and then as you go on into 75 and 100 point games, you start playing less games or have less time, and so I make 30 and 50 point games worth 1 point, 75 point games worth 2 points, and 100 point games worth 3 points, just so that allows each level to be roughly worth similar amount of points. You still tend to have a lot more at 30 and 50 points.
That makes sense to me. I've definitely played a ton of 30-point games, and
right.
In the time that it takes me to play 100-point game. Yeah, I believe that.
Yep. So this league, one of the things that I'm doing with this league that I haven't ever done before is I'm using the new Longshanks league format stuff. So SFG has reenacted the press gang program, and to do it and track points and track what you're doing, it works through Longshanks, which has traditionally been a tournament format site, and it works great for tournament play, but it doesn't really have a lot of the functionality currently that you need for Journeyman leagues. And I've actually been talking directly with the devs. They have their own sort of like little Discord to talk about and catch bugs and do fixes and stuff like that. And they've added a bunch of features just in the time of my Journeyman league that weren't there previously, and they're talking about adding more, which will help. Like, so one of the things that you can't do right now is a player that goes from if you're playing in an escalation league, you can lock in your 30-point list before the league starts, but then after the league starts, you can't join a thing after the game starts, like an individual person, and you can't change your list, which when you have to have like a locked 30-point, locked 50-point for playing in the different levels of Journeyman, you want to be able to have the player be able to edit their own stuff, or at least so there's like different formats you can do too, which are supposed to function differently but don't. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but overall I think it's a really good system.
Oh, nice. I'm glad they're making those infrastructure changes, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not clear that Longshanks would be the right platform to run a league on.
Right.
I mean, I can see that it could happen, so I'm glad they're making the upgrades.
One thing that's a little challenging, though, is that you really need to have sort of like a dedicated. I'm the dedicated organizer, but you really need to have a dedicated organizer that's sort of running the league, because to add, like, for example, my league has you get a point for every model that you paint. Added to your total score for overall, and you get, and like I said, you get 1 point for playing a game. You get 1 point for playing a game, and then 1 point for winning a game. But then you get 2 points at 75, and then 3 points. So the system doesn't automatically do that, and so I have to be able to go in and add bonus points. And there actually is a pretty good function for that, but I still have to tracking it is a little tough. So I've been adding it above the their lists, like how many painting bonus points they have, how many 75-point games they have, bonus points they have for 75-point games, etc. But it's a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, if you want flexibility to implement your own system, right, you're just sort of gonna have to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the work of the organizer. I'm glad the system at least lets you do that kind of customizing, right? That seems pretty important.
Okay.
How have people been enjoying it, Jay? Are they
it's been nice. It's been nice. We've been getting, the first couple weeks we were averaging 7 players for 30 and 50 points. It's the number, we've had a little more than that and a little less than that going into 50 and then into 75. 75, we've definitely had some player turnout drop off. It also didn't help that it was 4th of July weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like that's going to cause some drop off. So,
and there's been some challenges. Some of the players, so we have a couple of really new players. Dennis is a good example. He's a new Kithgard player that's been playing. He's got 10 games played and only 1 game won. For example, for the league. But he's learned a lot, and he and I played a 75-point game recently, and I did end up winning, but it went down to the bottom of 5, and it was really close, and his caster was on 1 health, and my caster was on 1 health, and I ended up winning by scenario. So, there was a lot of... He had a really good shot at... I had a really good shot at killing him. I failed. He had a really good shot at killing me back. He failed. And it was it came down to dice rolls, and it was very, very close for the whole game, which was great to see a newer player sort of getting it, gaining experience with the armies, adding more tools that help him out, but really sort of playing with the stuff. And he did something crazy. So there's so one of the heavy jacks that's in Kithgard, so the character heavy jacks that's in Kithgard has the it's the auxiliary box one. It has the trapdoor, it can start in the trapdoor.
Yeah, yes, I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
I think his name is Chomper. He had Tunnel Ambush. And so he spent the whole game trying to get a trapdoor to my caster. And my caster kept being well, I'm going to stay too far away for you. I'm going to sort of hide a little bit. I'm going to try and stay out of your threat as much as possible. And he kept trying to push this trapdoor into my caster. And Chomper, who's a 17-point character heavy, is sitting in this trapdoor the whole game. So he's basically playing down 17 points.
Yeah, but it sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Imagine if it worked.
And on turn 5. On turn 5, when he tried to assassinate me and failed, he did get it. He did get a trapdoor to my caster, and Chomper hopped out of it, and it worked out for him. So
I don't know. It's incredible. What a story.
Yeah.
I don't know. What a fun way to play the game too.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment. But yeah, I mean,
you have advice about more experienced players playing more junior players in Journeyman leagues, and they kind of try to cater to both crowds a little bit. What do you think about handling that?
So one way to do it is to play simpler missions, to play missions that reward creativity with your models, but also give both opportunities players a chance to play, and you don't necessarily go for the throat every game. One thing that more experienced players can do is they can be instead of focusing on, you want to get control points and play the mission, but maybe you go for, I'm going to go kill that really cool unit that he likes, or I'm going to focus on other objectives. I'm going to try and do something cool, like get a trapdoor marker to the enemy caster and ambush a unit on top of the caster, he was playing.
That's an incredible thing to try to do to a player, right? It's, I don't know, it's kind of scary. It seems intimidating, but maybe it's not actually that good. That's really fun.
And one of the cool things about this thing that he did was that normally you can't ambush even out of trapdoors at the beginning in the maintenance phase. But the caster he's playing, Craghorn, who is the battle box caster, his feat actually lets up to 3 units ambush that are in ambush, that are near trapdoor markers during your turn. And so, like, he was able to move the trapdoor during his turn to my caster, and then feat and have the beast hop out, which was really cool. I think he could have done that like 2 or 3 turns earlier and had Chomper on the table and been doing work with him, because he hits pretty hard. And maybe not done it for my caster and like put it on Starved, or put it onto one of the chosen unit or something like that did some work. And it would have been a better use.
Though,
right? Right. Yeah. But like doing things like that, like finding cool ways to use your feet, doing cool things in the game that will teach your opponent about the strengths or weaknesses of your army, an army they're playing against, or things they need to watch out for. I think that kind of stuff is more important than necessarily like going for the throat. I mean, sure, you probably want to, if you're playing in a league or something like that, winning is probably obviously something you sort of want to focus on because you're playing in a league. But you want to play the game and make them feel like they're especially when you getting into 50 or 75 point games or 100 point games, that they've learned something, they're doing better. I'm not saying that I necessarily was trying to do that in my game. I've sort of been struggling a little bit with Old Umbry and the lists that I chose to play, and so it was I wasn't like I was necessarily trying to be easy on him, but it can be fun to figure that kind of stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like to do too. Try to find some interesting goal of mine that, maybe not the most cutthroat goal, but one that will like that shows off something interesting and make sure we both have a good time and that sort of thing.
Yep.
I just try to make it to turn 6 against Joe. I mean, that's my moral victory. Hey, did I make it to turn 6? Yay!
Moral victories. Yay!
Yeah. Playing Joe is tough. I can attest to that.
Well, it sounds like you're having a good time. Like, it sounds like it's going well.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's sounds like some of the guys in my league. So because 75 started on 4th of July weekend, it sounds like a couple of people are wanting us to do another week of 75. There's a couple of people that haven't gotten games in, and so the league might actually end up going 9 weeks. But I think people are having fun and they're really enjoying it. And I'm going to try and run a campaign in the fall, and I've had a couple of people be like, oh, I'm not really interested, and I've also had a couple people like, yeah, I'm ready, let's go, let's play. So hopefully that'll work out, and we can get some excitement for that. I wanted to run one for a while, and it hasn't really happened, and hopefully we can get some people like really invested.
Yeah, and there's that nice, really cool rule set that you're going to use the
yes.
help from the front line.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably going to play Gravediggers
like
for it. We'll see.
It was very helpful hearing what's been going on for you, because I have the demo day 3rd week in September up here, and then I'm hoping 4th week in September I can have a league started up here.
A Journeyman?
Yeah, a Journeyman league.
Are you gonna? When does the weather start getting bad for you up there, and everyone goes into hibernation?
November, about Thanksgiving.
So like September, end of September, October. Yeah, you probably have enough time to just have enough time to get a league in before it gets really bad.
Well, and so some of the guys actually live closer to me than they do to the game store.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to, so right now we have interest, so I have 6 total guys that are interested in playing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of that, 3 of them have bought armies, which I'm like, good job, guys, super excited. Like, they went online, they were like, and they went full tilt.
Yep.
And which is humorous because as I was telling Jay and Joe earlier, 2 of them bought New Kador, and then 1 bought Fane. And I was like, well, this is going to be interesting. Because I thought originally that I was going to have to like 3D print armies and get people in, but they I played a game against Menoth versus Old Signar, and then I did Gravediggers versus Old Signar, and in the front of the store, because they had the 40Kers were in the back taking up like all the game tables, so we pulled up a 4x4 and played at the front table. You'd be surprised how many people showed up to like, or not showed up, but people watched us play, because we were both fully painted with both of our lists. I brought in my fancy terrain, which I've said to the game store that I would let them use my fancy terrain. And I brought in my mats, and I brought my neoprene to put on the bottom too, the 2D. And we eventually had the 40Kers coming from the back, because one of their players came up to watch, because he came up to get a drink from the front, and then he stopped playing 40K to watch our game and ask us questions.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
And then so eventually 40Kers came up too. Yeah, and so I feel like we might be stealing some of the 40Kers. I'm not heartbroken over that at all.
Yeah, I think one of our newer guys that's started playing with us has also come from 40K recently.
But yeah, I'm excited to do the Journeyman. I wish I had new Menoth for them, but it's okay. I understand. I will.
I mean,
because I feel like
they're going to come out. Like they're going to come out like during the league, so
they will. But I feel so. The thing is, I feel like so right now I have Chimera who are very aggressive. I have Gravediggers who are very aggressive. Even trying to play a non-aggressive list for either of those two for being a new army, they're not friendly.
Yeah.
And I can play a tuned down list, but we're going to see how it all goes. But luckily, one of the guys can get back.
Think are friendly for new players?
What was that?
What kind of armies do you think are friendly for new players?
If I was playing Kador, new Kador.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because they're kind of slow. It's not that they can't win.
You mean Winter Corps? Not
Winter Corps, not Old Umbry.
Yeah.
I think because they're a little bit slower on the table, you can kind of figure out what they're going to do before they do it. Now they still might roll over you, but at least you know what's going to happen. Whereas Gravediggers can kind of do some things that you're not fully expecting. You're
playing defense more against them or something like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else. So I think Infernals, you know what they're going to do. Their Infernals aren't going to jump around and do anything crazy. Neither are Cricks. Now you might not be able to.
They summon demons though, so.
Fair, I guess. I mean, I guess I've played so much Cricks. So maybe
I'm not talking about Cricks, I'm talking about Infernals. You know what they're going to do, but then they also can bring in more heavy beasts and stuff.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I always just assume they're going to bring in heavy beasts, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're right. I think things that are like predictable are like good choices. Things that and I think you're right. I think like alpha striking is like can be really intimidating for a new player if they get alpha struck, even if it's kind of a gentle touch. They may not, realize that. So, yeah, they're both like reasonable things.
Well, I think when you, like with Gravediggers, if I'm like, oh yeah, hey, I brought this light jack in off the table on an airdrop, that can, a brand new table or a brand new player is like, whoa, hold on. You just get to do that? I'm like, well, yeah, it's my command card. And they're like, really?
Yeah, well, it may not be something they can do at all, right? Like, it doesn't have any, it's like a totally random mechanic that doesn't like really teach them about the product and that kind of thing. Yeah. I can see that. Maybe all of these newer factions are actually going to be less good for teaching new players because they're just more, sort of mechanically complicated and unique. I don't know if I believe that or not, but it's possible.
The two of the new players both picked Winter Core because they're kind of straightforward. So maybe that'll be good for them. And the guy who picked Fane, he's played 40K. He's never played Warmachine, and I'm like, all right, buddy, we're gonna learn Hunger together.
At the end of this, one of us will know it.
Yeah, and one of the guys said he's interested in Gravediggers, and one of the guys is interested in Chimera. So we're gonna see if I can get people showing up more. I have 2 messages from 2 of the guys right now. One of them is the one that bought Winter Core, and then the other guy is the one who bought Gravediggers.
Okay.
So that's exciting that they're sending me messages at 10 o'clock at night, like, hey, when can we play next?
Yeah, they're ready to go, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I want to encourage that. But also I know, I had to have a talk with them. I was like, hey, I can teach you guys how to play, but I can't be here every week because first off, I have surgery coming up. Second off, I have a wife and kids, and I can probably be out every 2 weeks, but I can't guarantee I'm going to be out every week. So I also am going to need to train other people to be out here and helping and stuff like that. But I also was showing the guys about how to play on War Table too. So we'll see.
So, that's a good tool.
Yep. Very cool. Congratulations. I think that's awesome that you're getting a group rolling and people seem to be excited.
Man, sorry, my brain is melting. I'm turning into Joe. Sorry, Joe. That's harsh.
Yeah, it's that time of night. I'm definitely melting.
No, it's been a thing. I've tried to get people going last year before it got cold, and then I tried to get people going a little bit earlier, but now it just kind of hit that perfect storm of everybody came out, watched it going on, and I'm gonna try to keep building on that.
Awesome. That's the thing about it, right? Is you just can't control when it happens. You gotta ride the wave when it shows up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So Jay, I might be picking your brain as I'm going through and doing the league more and more.
Absolutely. And I've got a sort of a basic guideline that I put out for how the league works and stuff that's on our Longshanks, and so I can give you some of that information, which definitely helps out. But yeah, I think using the SFG base is really good, and then tweaking it for your community. So if you have a community that's sort of more aggressive or more focused on who wins or who getting points and playing a little bit more competitively, I think adding a point system to it and rewarding them for playing games, sort of like I've done with ours, is really good. If you have a bunch of brand new players that just want to play games and don't really care about that, I think running a sort of more open, let's just get models on the table and have some fun, roll some dice, kind of structure like the SFG one works just fine as well. And so it's sort of taking their core, or taking what you know about Journeyman Leagues from the past and tweaking it for your community, I think is the best way to sort of talk about how to get it to work for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Choose your own adventure kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm trying to look at what I can possibly do to try to inspire people, and I was like, oh, maybe terrain, maybe miniatures, what will get people out there.
Yeah, no, and I think terrain is a big piece of it. Joe, you've had some struggles with terrain recently. Can you want to tell us about that? No?
No. I don't.
Oh, don't tell me the pyramid broke. Did the pyramid break?
No.
Oh no.
I'm sure you can edit this, Jay. So let's frame this more I think one thing that I really loved about our store was like all the effort you put into the terrain and like all the curation that you and JD had done over the years to get that terrain awesome.
Yep.
And like, at my new store, I'm like kind of interested in like taking up the same mantle. Like, I think.
I said I would print for you, man.
Yeah, no, so I'm thinking about like, once I got Scuttlebutt done, maybe my next project is like making some nice tables of terrain that we can use on our game night, and like that
That's cool.
Our store has a lot of terrain, but it's not like really Warmachine specific, right? So it'd be nice to have some like really good Warmachine, that combination of functional like tournament terrain, but also like is pretty eye catching. And there's like a way to do that, and I've seen it, and you've shown it to me, and
if you need help with like picking the different components and like how you build a table, and like what kind of elements you want to have on different on tables. If you need any help with like figuring that out, like how many pieces to have and how to source some of that stuff, just let me know. I have a lot of resources that I've used to get the stuff that I use to create the set that we have at Atlantis.
Yeah, and that's like the kind of thing I want to work on, right? I think that could be like a real nice, because I think our community, this community up here is growing too. So
yep, absolutely.
For that, and I think like terrain would be some more terrain. More Warmachine terrain would be a nice thing to add.
I think so. I think it'd be really great to. Once you have like the small group of people playing, it's a really good way to get the people that are sort of watching from the sidelines or they're playing their own thing to sort of notice what's going on and get excited for it.
Well, that's my thinking too. So I'm excited to take a stab at that when the time is right or what have you. So
makes sense.
It made me made me grateful for like all the nice terrain that we had up at Atlantis and never had to even think about, right? So it's a good thing to be reminded about that too.
I spoil people. It happens. I know. All right. So I think we've reached a good point on talking about Journeyman and sort of like how things are going for my league and what you can do to make a Journeyman league function for you. We've been talking for like just under an hour. Do we want to talk a little bit about Fane and what we like, what we're excited about, what stuff scares us, etc., or do we want to sort of cut it here and just sort of keep this episode to about an hour?
I'll talk a little bit about playing Fane because I found it very interesting.
Because you played against them, right? You haven't actually played with them yet.
I have not played with them. I've played against them several times yet.
Okay, I've got one game at 75 points with a guy that had never played with them before, so I have a little bit of insight into them, and a little bit of insight into what you. So here, let me start. So Fane is interesting because each caster does something that really like changes how the feel of the army is. Each caster brings different components, and so like for example, Scene, which is the caster that's in the starter box, is very assassination. She's very, I'm waiting for you to come to the right spot so that I can pounce on you and kill you. Or this stuff over here doesn't look that strong, but I'm going to spend a bunch of hunger and make it hit really hard for this one turn and do some crazy stuff. And so she's her abilities and the way she spends hunger is unique versus like Ashmael, for example, who spends hunger very differently. And so I played one game into Scene, and my opponent ended up winning on scenario. And part of the thing you have to understand about Fane is that they have a lot of threat. Their units, like, you look at the army and you're like, well, that's going to kill me, and so I want to stay away from that. And if you focus on that idea and don't focus on like, well, I need to score or contest things for the scenario, you're going to lose very quickly because you're too focused on what they can do versus what they're actually doing. And so In my game, my opponent struggled to get hunger because I just was staying outside of his threat and staying away from his stuff, and he ended up winning on scenario because I didn't give Hysene an opportunity just to murder something. But at the same time, I did get to see what Sybaris, the character beast, does, and man, I did not realize the pull ability that it has triggers on every single one of its initial attacks and not just once. And so I was like, oh, well, Starved will get pulled a little bit and he'll be fine. Yeah, no, he was pulled like 10 inches and Hysene murdered him.
Yeah, because Sybaris has a 2-inch range.
Right.
It's one of its flaws, right? So
right.
The first pull, it can move 2 and pull 4, and then the next 2 pulls can both be 2-inch pulls.
Yeah. So like, 8 inches, 8 inches total.
8 inches.
Or whatever you're pulling.
Honestly, a little bit like Mullet Karn back in the day, right? Like,
yeah.
And then you can use the repo card afterwards and end up really far away. Yeah, I was really impressed by Sybaris. Like,
it
doesn't look like too much on the face of it, but really enables the army to bring something in. And I don't think Snatch and Drag has it's just enemy non-leader model.
Yeah.
So you can pull, like in one of my games, they pulled Scuttlebutt.
Wow.
Like an 80 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulled it across the table. So I think that's really good. Did you get to see echolocation, Jay?
I did not. I've heard a lot about what it is and what it does, but it did not come into play in the game that I played. There was definitely an opportunity for it, and he ended up deciding to grab my heavy beast instead and pull it to his caster so his caster could murder it.
Yeah, it lets you do things like you can whoever casts the Animus, it costs 2.
Mm-hmm.
It says, within 6 inches of this model, friendly faction models always have line of sight to enemy models that this model has line of sight to. So you can do things like step Sybaris out, like kind of backwards behind a wall.
Mm-hmm.
So that it can see your model now. And your Warcaster, for example, could be right behind the wall, and if it's dash mail, you could just shoot straight through the wall. Because you can draw a line of sight through Sybaris.
Yep.
Right? Or, more often you see things like another beast with flight can just fly over the wall straight into you. Something like a Strigan Rider could fly over a wall. And
that's the meme I've seen. I'm like, the meme I've seen is it's basically like your caster sitting there like perfectly hidden behind some things, and the Sybaris hops over, can see him, and is like, echolocate, Strigan Rider, come from behind where you can't see him and murder this guy.
Yep, yeah, it's really good.
Yep.
I'm not mad about it or anything. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's a thing that will absolutely catch you off guard if you haven't seen it. That and so both of his things, like, I think it's, you see a 14-point war beast that tops out at POW 15 and it's mat 6 and it's, what's going on with this? But I think it's really good. And I think that they've hit the nail on the head in terms of the war beasts don't do the damage, but they sure enable the army in interesting ways.
It's also interesting. So in the game, we were playing wolves at our heels, and so he had a unit of Fane Knights that weren't near the caster because the caster was sort of more mid table, and so they were off on the 40 mil trying to score it, or contesting my 40 mil to try and stop me from scoring it. And my Chosen were over there, and the Chosen hit hard, and the Fane Knights just sort of folded under them. And so you see why they either have to be really near the caster to get the +3 armor benefit, or they just sort of crumple. And so I think it's interesting that you really do have certain pieces that do a lot of damage, but if you're not using the combos correctly, the army it's not as strong as it might look on paper.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. And yeah, that having to be within 10 inches of the caster thing it's on a bunch of the models. It's unbowed, right? And it's it makes a huge difference in their survivability. They go from I think a little bit extra survivable to not very survivable.
Right.
If you're depending on where you're at. So definitely a thing to watch out for. What else should I talk about? Okay, so is it called Shadow Shift? Is that the ability that's on everything? Yeah, Shadow Shift.
Yeah, Shadow Shift. Yeah.
So, well, maybe I guess I have 2 points. So the first is one. I think these lists. Good lists are designed to generate hunger, and if you do the thing that you did, Jay, where you stopped him from generating hunger, it's just like, I think it is real bad for this faction.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they have a lot of good ways to generate hunger if they're like willing to pay for them. I'm pretty sure Tony didn't have the Fane Stalkers.
Yeah, no, he did not.
Crossbows.
No.
Yeah, so they have a ranged 12 gun with Afflictor, which puts which can put torment out on things, and that's a great way for them to start
he had
start collecting hunger early in the game.
I think his heavy beast had like a spray or a ranged weapon that had Afflictor on it, so I got afflicted. One of my guys got afflicted. The primeval I had got afflicted, and it mattered because I couldn't heal him, so he couldn't heal his spirit back.
Yeah, probably a Screecher Vordak or something like that.
Or something like that. Yeah, so I did get to see Afflictor. It definitely... So I sort of kept away from him for the most part and only got near to the Fane stuff when I could definitely kill it. Or at least I thought I would definitely be able to kill it. I was able to...
That's the thing.
Yeah. I was able to keep away from the stuff that was afflicting, but... at the same time, if in an army for example, Gravediggers that I'm going to be playing, where I have a lot of, single wound models or a lot of infantry that wants to sort of be in that sort of midfield, if you can afflict a whole bunch of models and I can't get rid of that, I think that's really strong.
Yeah. No, it's really good. Both for the resource generation, also as, a Hordes player, it's really annoying when you can't heal your beasts.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, taking some of those pieces that I don't know, when you look at the Vordak and his the Razor Fan, not very exciting. It's a POW 8. You actually do probably want things like that in your list.
Yep.
So that you can, actually do damage and build hunger. I think is really important. And also the Fane Stalkers, they don't really deal a lot of damage, and they're 7 points, but it's pretty important to the faction to build hunger early.
I agree.
So I've been impressed by that, and then I'll say that Shadow Shift is this ability that they spend 3 hunger, and when they're hit, they can, after the enemy attack is resolved, they can spend 3 hunger to choose another model within 4 inches, and you place them in base to base with that model.
Yeah, so they can teleport much more than 4 inches. You can put them behind them if they're a medium base, or...
Yeah, or if they're large, it's 6 inches away. It's a really big teleport. It makes them really hard to engage with as a melee faction, because if you're mostly a melee list and you have to commit something, and then if what you committed is worthwhile, they can teleport away. It makes it really hard to peace trade favorably.
Yeah.
Imagine that they put out a Strigan Rider is the thing you'd want to kill. They're pretty tough. Exactly. They can usually take 1 hit. All of a sudden, then they're 6 inches further back. You've gotten some value out of, you've got some damage on them. They had to kill another model. They spent some hunger, but still, it makes it hard to reliably peace trade into them.
Yep.
Which I think is something I was surprised by.
Yeah, the fact that the rider has 15 wounds was surprised me. I went in and hit it hard with a Stir to the Blood cab model, and did 10 points of damage on the charge, and he was like, "Oh, I have 15. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm going to disappear now."
And it's armor 19. It's a real. I mean, it's not more survivable than a light jack, but it is like a light jack, right?
Yeah.
Or something along that caliber. And I don't know if this came up in your game, but every single game I'm like staring at those stupid casters, like thinking I should assassinate them. And like,
good luck with that.
I killed Hycene one time, but like, Ashmail is like, but generally like it's really hard because if I killed her because she was camping 0. If they're camping 1, like it's pretty easy for them to shift that first hit, hunger out of there, shadow shift out of there, and then you're just flapping in the breeze.
Yeah, and then they murder you back with the next turn. I mean, it's assassination runs are definitely tough, and it's not like they're just transferring damage away or they're sitting there tanking it like you would with a normal caster. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna like take the hit or pass it off, but then I'm gonna disappear and be 6 inches away from you, and so,
You guys, we just need a mercenary unit that's called Vampire Hunters that is armed with stakes that suck at damaging everything that are not Fane.
Yeah, I mean it'd be sweet if like when you staked them, like they couldn't shadow shift, right? Like that would be supreme. Like that's how you get these guys.
Model hit by stake. Model hit by stake is staked to the ground and cannot be moved or placed by a.
Yeah. I mean, Ashmail is real complicated, right? Because he can have admonition.
Yeah.
He can have shadow shift. He has stealth, so if you don't see through stealth and you move close to him, he can move away. Like,
I have not even seen him yet, and just the fact that I'm like, okay, Hycene is I've sort of wrapped my head around what Hycene can do and how I have to sort of stay away from her, and not just sort of let her piecemeal pick me apart. Ashmail, just the fact that he works completely differently. So I was talking to one of the guys at the Journeyman League, and we were sort of talking about Fane, and I really do think that Fane, the thing that they're going to do is they're going to upset the meta a lot, and people are going to have to. You're not just going to be like, well, this list works against Fane because Fane does this. I have to be ready for. So far, we've seen 2 casters, but there's at least 2 more coming, and both of them could be completely different from this. They could work with based off a completely different like core mechanic. And so, what's worked up to now with like Old Umbry, for example, I think Old Umbry is going to really struggle into Fane. Yes, I can hit them. Yes, I have hit fixing, and so I can. But I think they could struggle to do damage. And like you said, Old Umbry is very much a melee focused combat army, and the fact that
it seems like
my threats can just like disappear and then come back at me later is really tough it's going to be really tough for Umbry to figure out.
I'm excited to see what else they do with them. I think they're going to be. I think the dev team nailed it in terms of like making them interesting and different, and they are what. When they describe them to us, like the Warcaster plays at the front, they do the damage. Like I think, it's what's on the tin, and that's awesome.
Yep.
I should tell you one more thing. Ashmail's feat doesn't have like a duration.
Right.
So his feat, like, it takes objectives and it gives you signs of importance when you're fighting things that are near those, when you're attacking models that are contesting or within contesting range of the objectives. And it only goes away when he decides to score that objective. And so you can, if you're feeling okay on scenario, you can just like grind it out and like keep that attrition advantage. It's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm pretty excited about them in general. I think they're very well designed. I'm curious to see how they fit into the game at large.
So what more do you want to see that we haven't seen from them? Like, what more do you think that they could do? Do you think we've sort of seen the 2 extremes of what the casters can do, and the other ones will sort of fit somewhere in the middle? Or do you think we'll have the next one's going to have a completely different mechanic that works a completely different way?
Oh, I mean, I
think the next one's going to have a completely different mechanic. I think you're going to have 3 different mechanics completely, and I think it's going to just break people's brains.
Well, we know there's 4 casters, so there could be like, and we know, and they have said that the 4th caster, Habersheth, is sort of, he sort of plays outside the box with of what the others do, and he might be the more normal, but also like he focuses on the stuff that the other casters don't necessarily, like the key units and key pieces that the other casters have. He might play with the stuff that's less common or off from the rest of the sort of stuff the rest of the army does. He does differently. Is what they've said a little bit. It's what Matt said about him when they were first talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen like I feel like one thing. I mean, and we should like think about what are vampires do in the lore, but we haven't seen like a vampire mage yet, right?
Yeah.
Like an eldritch wizard like type. We haven't seen that at all, and we also haven't really seen like, I think there's like a vampire archetype of like controlling the undead and legions of undead and never-ending undead. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So we have 2 casters left that we know about for sure, and most factions have 5 or 6. Some have as many as 7, like Gravediggers, for example. What we know is that the next caster is sort of like the king of the faction. His model actually has like a scepter and a crown. And he's the quote of fluff about him is that he could do it himself, but why do it when he could send his underling to kill you?
Yeah,
and so
to do it?
He might be the controlling caster. He might be that mage or power caster that sort of like commands his stuff, and his stuff it gives them extra abilities or empowers them up or supports them in some way. He could be that sort of powerful caster. And then I think it'd be really cool if Habersheth is sort of the like you said, the controller of the undead, and he uses the undead, the non-Fane undead hordes that we've seen pictures of, but we don't really know what a lot of the models do. The Scorn-looking stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the vampire trope of like controlling enemy minds, right?
Right.
Like maybe that's what he leans into. I think his old model used to have influence, right?
Yeah,
that was one of his spells. I mean, you would never cast that, but maybe that's like he's all into mental manipulation and control. Maybe we see our first control caster in Mark IV. Like,
I think what's her name? Reznikova in Old Umbry is pretty control focused. Which is kind of the reason I haven't played her. She's only started showing up in competitive play in the last little bit. She's the one that has like the tree and the snake on her ult model.
The tree, yeah.
She's the one that feels like an actual circle caster.
You know what would be sweet is if Habersheth was the new Haley too. Just to like run it back, right?
Ugh, no, please God, no.
Vengeance for old times.
No.
Anyhow, we should wrap it up, bud. It's getting late.
I think so. All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been the episode 37 of the Atlanteans. This is our first episode of season 3. We're sort of working back in. Joe just finished a move, and Alec is now going to be having back surgery here at the end of the month. And so we could be sort of a little bit... we'll try and get episodes in as regularly as we can, but that for the next like month or two, it'll probably be sort of when we can or when people are feeling up to it. We may not be back until probably Nova Open, after Nova Open, which is the first week of September. Hopefully we'll get something in August, even if it's just me and Joe.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get something in.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us on the link tree in the description. You can find links to all of our social media stuff. We're we've got Facebook and Instagram that we've got some updated stuff for. And I guess we'll see you back for episode 2. All right. This has been Jay.
Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.